You pay your credit card off in full every single month. You never carry a balance. You've never missed a payment in your life, and then your credit score drops. And that's when you find out something absolutely maddening. The credit agencies don't actually care that you paid it off. They only care about what balance showed up on your statement on a specific day each month, a moment in time that might have been weeks before you even paid the bill. This is the credit utilization paradox, and it's been confusing people for decades. The weird thing is that nobody really explains it well. Your bank certainly doesn't. Your credit card company definitely won't volunteer this information. And somehow you're left standing there wondering why being responsible actually made your credit score worse. So what exactly is credit utilization anyway? Why does paying in full every month not fix the problem? And is there actually a way to win at this game without carrying a balance and paying interest? Every major credit score model, whether it's FICO or Vantage Score, includes something called credit utilization as a factor in your overall score. The name makes it sound straightforward. It's how much of your available credit you're actually using. If you have a credit card with a $5,000 limit and you spend $1,000, your utilization rate is 20%. Seems simple enough. The problem is that most people think utilization works like a real-time percentage that updates instantly as you spend and pay. So if you spend $2,000 on Monday and pay it off on Tuesday, your utilization was $2,000 for that one day, and now it's zero. But that's not how credit cards report to the bureaus. They report on a specific day every month, usually somewhere between the 28th and the 2nd of the following month. And that day is called the statement close date. Whatever balance sits on your card on that exact day is the number that gets reported to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So here's where the paradox comes in. Let's say your statement closes on the 5th of every month. On that day, you happen to have a balance of $3,000 sitting on your card because you made some purchases and just haven't paid them yet. So 30% utilization at a $10,000 limit gets reported. That's a 30% utilization rate, and your credit score takes a hit. Then, 3 days later, you pay off the entire $3,000 balance. Your credit card now shows zero balance. You're paying zero interest. You've done exactly what you're supposed to do, but the credit bureaus still have that 30% utilization in their records for the entire month. This is the trap. Your payment came too late in the cycle to change what gets reported. This is why people who pay their credit cards off multiple times per month are often shocked to see high utilization reported. They think because they paid it off, zero should be reported. But the bureau couldn't care less about your payment date. They only know what was on the card on the day the statement closed. Now, most people's first instinct when they learn this is to ask, well, why not just make my purchases after the statement closes so they don't show up as utilization? And technically, yes, that would work, but living your actual life around your credit card's reporting cycle is obviously unreasonable and kind of defeats the purpose of having a credit card in the first place. So instead, there are a few actual workarounds that people use. The first one sounds silly, but it actually works. Request an earlier statement close date. Many credit card companies let you move your statement close date to basically any day of the month you want, completely free of charge. So if you're paid on the 15th, you could move your statement close to the 20th. Then, make sure most of your charges happen after the 20th. This way, when the statement closes on the 20th, you have a lower balance sitting on it since you haven't made most of your purchases yet. 3 days later, you pay off whatever is there and you start the cycle again. It's not perfect because sometimes you'll have pre-authorized charges or subscriptions that bill on weird days, but it's better than nothing. The second workaround is spreading your purchases across multiple cards. If you only have one credit card and you spend $5,000 in a month on a $10,000 limit, that's 50% utilization. But if you have 4 credit cards each with $10,000 limits and you spread that $5,000 across all of them, now you have roughly 12 to 13% utilization on each card. Same total spending, but the reported numbers are much lower. This is important because credit utilization is calculated two ways. There's per card utilization, which is what shows up on each individual card's report. And then there's overall utilization, which is your total balance divided by your total available credit across all cards. Credit scores weight overall utilization more heavily, but having high utilization on individual cards isn't great either. So spreading things out actually helps both metrics. The third method is the most counterintuitive and easiest to overlook. Get credit limit increases without hard inquiries. Most card companies let you request a higher credit limit through their website or app without doing a hard inquiry that hurts your score. This is key. Increasing your available credit from $10,000 to $15,000 instantly lowers your utilization rate without changing your spending at all. If you were at 50% utilization, you're now at 33%. It's literally 3 points in terms of your credit score, and most people don't bother doing it even though they should. Some people take this even further and apply for new cards just to increase their total available credit. It sounds crazy, but a new card with a hard inquiry causes a small temporary ding that's usually outweighed by the massive drop in utilization from suddenly having $40,000 in available credit instead of 20. Obviously, this only works if you're applying for cards strategically and you're not going to turn around and spend more money. But for someone who's serious about credit optimization, this is basically 3 points on your score. Now, here's something else that confuses people. There's a difference between the balance you see online and the balance that gets reported to the bureaus. Let's say you have a credit card where you spend money throughout the month. On the 15th of the month, you log into your card and see a current balance of $2,500. You think, well, that's what's going to get reported, right? So you pay $2,500. But then, a few days later, more charges hit because of subscriptions or pre-authorizations you forgot about. On the statement close date, which is the 5th, your actual balance is now $3,000. That's what gets reported, not the $2,500 you paid. This is why some people get blindsided when they check their credit report and see higher utilization than they expected. They only saw part of the picture. They paid what they thought was the current balance, but more charges came through after that. This is especially bad with subscriptions. Most people have at least 3 to 5 subscriptions charging to their card every month. Netflix, Spotify, streaming services, gym memberships, whatever. They all charge at different times throughout the billing cycle. So you might think you know what your balance is, but actually there are charges in flight that will post after you've already paid what you saw on your online statement. It seems like nothing, but if your statement closes at an odd time, those charges can swing your reported balance by hundreds of dollars. And that swings your utilization by several percentage points. The paradox gets even weirder when you think about what good behavior actually is. You're taught from childhood that carrying a balance and paying interest is bad. You're taught to pay in full every month. And so you do. But in the eyes of credit bureaus, paying in full every month actually provides zero signal that you're a good borrower in terms of utilization. The bureaus can only see the balance on statement close date. They don't know when you paid it. They don't know if you paid it 3 days later or 3 months later. All they know is that balance on day X. So from a pure credit optimization perspective, there's no meaningful benefit to paying in full quickly versus waiting. You could theoretically pay your full balance 2 days before your next statement closes, right before it resets, and your utilization would look better than someone who pays in full immediately after their purchases post. This is genuinely frustrating because it means the credit system isn't actually rewarding good behavior. It's rewarding specific timing behavior. It's rewarding people who understand the game. It's not rewarding people who just do what they're told. The good news is that credit utilization is only one factor in your overall credit score. It's roughly 30% of your FICO score. Your payment history is 35%. The length of your credit history is 15%. And then the mix of credit and new inquiries make up the remaining 20%. So even if your utilization is sitting at 50% every month, if you've never missed a payment and you have years of history, your score is still going to be pretty decent. Utilization is the kind of thing that matters when you're trying to go from good to excellent. If you're already at excellent, utilization can bring you down. But if you're just trying to be fine, missing payments is way more damaging than high utilization ever will be. That said, if you understand how utilization reporting works, there's no reason to leave points on the table. The fact that you're even asking this question means you care about your credit score, which means you're probably paying your bills on time anyway. So optimizing the utilization part is relatively low-hanging fruit. Most people can drop their utilization by 5 to 10 percentage points just by moving their statement close date or requesting a credit limit increase. That's not much effort for points that could meaningfully help your score when you're trying to refinance a mortgage or get approved for a new credit product. The broader lesson here is that credit scoring is a black box that rewards people who understand the system. The bureaus aren't transparent about when exactly they pull data. They don't tell you the precise algorithm, and most people just stumble through it blindly, paying penalties in the form of lower scores because they didn't understand the game. Your bank isn't going to explain this to you. Your credit card company isn't going to call you up and say, hey, you could optimize your reporting by moving your statement close date. They benefit from you not understanding it. They benefit from you thinking you have a lower score than you deserve, because a lower score means you're less likely to shop around for better rates, less likely to refinance, and more likely to just accept whatever terms they offer you. So, in a way, understanding credit utilization is understanding that the system isn't quite as mysterious as it seems. It's just hidden behind language and complexity. Once you know that the bureaus only care about balance on statement close date, everything else clicks into place. You stop wondering why paying in full didn't help. You stop being confused about why your utilization is higher than you expected, and you realize that the game is actually quite simple once you know the rules. Most people just never bother to learn them. Thanks for watching, mate. Bye.